Hello my fellow Archons, and welcome to Day 7 of KeyForge Christmas. Outposts were a series of artifacts, one in each house, that were printed in Winds of Exchange, and they had a common theme shared amongst them. Put a friendly creature on the bottom of your deck to trigger an effect. These effects vary, from dealing damage to making token creatures to archiving cards, and for the 7th day of KeyForge Christmas, I thought it would be cool to rank each of them from worst to best. Obviously this list won't be absolutely perfect, since each matchup and scenario is different, but this is what I came up with based on my own opinion. Without further ado, let's get into it. In the bottom position, we have Saurian's Ambrosia Outpost. When you put a friendly creature on the bottom of your deck, you get to move an Ember from a friendly creature to your pool. Library of Polyosaurus from past sets has the exact same effect, but there's not an extra step in doing so. In Winds of Exchange, there are hardly any ways to get Ember off your creatures, which can be a problem as the Saurians tend to exalt quite frequently. This outpost, along with maybe Senator Brachus, is one of the only ways to move that vulnerable Ember into a safer place, and that is valuable to have. But it just feels kinda lackluster compared to some of the effects further down the list, and moves far too slowly for the sheer amount of exalting Saurian tends to do in this set. At number 6, we have Nyan Outpost. This one allows you to make 2 token creatures after you put a friendly guy at the bottom of your deck. It's great for quickly spamming out large boards of tokens, which is especially advantageous if your game plan thrives on token spam, or if you're playing something like a Blorb deck. It synergizes great with Mars pods that have a Mars token creature, so if you can repeatedly generate multiple grunts or rebels or the like, alongside cards such as Hypnotic Command or Mix the Tall-Minded, it can become pretty threatening. But overall, it just seems kind of vanilla to me, which is why it ended up at number 6. In spot number 5 is Azure Basin Outpost from Unfathomable. It reads, action, put a friendly creature on the bottom of its owner's deck. If you do, exhaust 3 enemy creatures. Being able to neutralize 3 dangerous enemy targets until such a time when you can fully remove them from the board can be quite handy, and sets up nicely for other cards like Sleep with the Fishes or even Befuddle. It has good disruptive potential, but just isn't quite the same as actually destroying a creature, which is what the next outpost in line has the capability to do. In conjunction with things like Frigorific Rod, the Azure Basin can put in some decent, albeit rather slow work. At number 4 is Broken Axe Outpost. While Azure Basin Outpost can temporarily deal with more enemy creatures than Broken Axe can, Broken Axe has the potential to actually destroy a creature and remove it from the board. Again, scenarios differ, and one may be more useful than the other depending on where you're at, but the damage output Broken Axe provides, being able to one-shot most creatures in the game, puts it just above Azure Basin for me. 6 damage wherever you want on the opponent's board is pretty substantial, and just like any outpost, repeatable turn over turn. We've reached the top 3, and in the number 3 spot we have Lightbringer Outpost. It reads, action, put a friendly creature on the bottom of its owner's deck. If you do, a friendly creature captures 3 Ember. This is a super useful piece of Ember control, capturing a whole half a key at a time, and synergizes wonderfully with all the capture and support Sanctum has going on in this set. Capture that Ember onto a Katarina the Summoner, or load it up onto your right flank creature and whirlpool it over to the opponent's side. I just love the stall tactics Lightbringer Outpost can provide, potentially repeatedly keeping your opponent from forging keys, and again, synergizing amazingly with things like Outflank, Cleric, Request Donations, and Almsmaster. It can be quite stifling to play against. At number 2, we have Iquigi Outpost from House Equidon. When you put a friendly creature on the bottom of its owner's deck, you can draw 3 cards. This effect is amazing, super efficient, and is backbreaking to play against when it appears in multiples. It allows you to dig deeper into your deck to find cards you need, and boy can I testify to that. At KeyForge Celebration last month, during the sealed Winds of Exchange event, one of my opponents had double Iquigi Outpost, and in a critical key 3 moment when I was checking for 3rd key, he was able to dig 6 cards deeper and find his closer negotiation, which he used to bring me off check, put him into check for his 3rd key, and win the game. It's such an incredibly useful and efficient tool to have, and can add just a little extra oomph to your Equidon turns. And finally, in the coveted number 1 spot is Ganymede Outpost from Starlines. It reads, action, put a friendly creature on the bottom of its owner's deck. If you do, archive 2 cards. It's one of the very few forms of archiving in the set. 2 cards stored away in your archives every time it's used builds up tremendous amounts of value down the road, resulting in mightily powerful turns. After just 2 Starlines turns, you could have 4 cards in your archives. After 3 turns, up to 6, accumulating things like Generous Offers or Inex Rebels for when you really need them, perhaps to turn the tables on your opponent or clinch out a victory. Drawing 3 cards at a time with Iquigi Outpost offers some great instant value, but Ganymede Outpost offers value that builds up exponentially over time, which is a big reason why it ended up in the number 1 spot. And there we have it, every Outpost artifact in Winds of Exchange ranked from worst to best. I think they make a fantastic addition to the card pool, and are a really neat way of stacking the bottom of your deck or retrieving important cards that were tokenized, in addition to gaining a cool effect. Let me know what you would change or how you would rank these Outposts in the comments below. I would love to hear your thoughts and ideas. Thank you all so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you all again in the next one. See you later.